Hello there. Welcome to another Tech Tips 411 tutorial / live stream PD. I am super excited today to be talking about one of my absolute favorite things, and that is video creation tools. So today we're going to be talking all about my favorite tools and how we can use those to engage our learners. So, all right. This is the fun thing about going live and trying to make sure that I have all of the things that we need to have set up here. And I thought I did. And guess what? I'm going to have to do a little magic stuff right here. So I apologize. Let me know if you're tuning in live and where you're tuning in live from. I just got to switch this over here. There we go. Magic should be happening. And let's see here if I refresh this and go back. All right, my window decided to not cooperate on me, but that's all right. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to make this happen. Magic is going to happen here. So let me know where you're tuning in from and what you're excited to learn about. And I think that should, if that doesn't do that, then we're going to switch over here. Problem solved here. I will go with backup plan. That's always fun. And there we go. We'll go this route and see if I can get it going. Don't know why it was deciding to be moody, but that's okay. We will going with the flow here. This is the fun thing about going live, and usually I try and have it pretty together, but you know, it's the end of the day here in Atlanta, and so the struggle is a little on the real side here. So I'm not sure why it is being a little moody. I'm going to try one more thing, and if not, then we're going to go with plan A. There's always a plan B, right? So window capture, I just need to make sure it grabs the right one. Show windows, there we go, and okay. Magic is happening. There we go. Whew. I was a little worried there, but I have figured it out. There we go. So now, there we go. Magic is happening. I don't know what was going on, but the struggle is real today, but we've got it. We've got it. Thank you for those of you bearing with me for the fun. I don't know why. It just disappeared. The one thing about having multiple monitors, you lose things, and it went away. So welcome to Video Creation Tools. This is one of my absolute favorite sessions, and let's get started. So sorry about that for having a little bit of a technical issue, but if this is your first live stream, I apologize that this is the first one you joined and this is what you saw. It will get better, I promise, hopefully. My name is Jen, and I'm an educational technology specialist here in Atlanta, and that means my job is providing technology training for teachers and working with students to build college and career readiness skills and use technology effectively. So I'm super excited for you to spend some time with me today as we talk about video creation tools. So our goals for this session are that we're going to explore video creation tools. We're going to gain ideas for using video creation tools for lessons and gain ideas for students to create video projects. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your understanding, but I'm back. I'm good now. I don't know. That was just, the struggle is real. But we got it going. All right, so those are our goals for our time today, and let's dive in. So we're talking about video editing tools. We want to talk about the different features and the different things that you might be looking for, and it's dependent on what the project is. So you want to talk about, does it allow for various file formats? Can you cut segments, or can you do trimming? Can you join clips? Can you resequence clips? Can you add titles or text or rotate or crop footage? Can you add sound effects? Can you add audio tracks, add transitions and other special effects like cool green screen things? As you can see, I'm kind of using a little bit of green screen fun today, which is the chroma key, which allows for some awesome opportunities to put students anywhere that they need to be, past, present, or future. And also what you can export it as, those formats or options. So those are just some things to consider when you're talking about the tool. And also ease of use is something that's really important, making sure that it's something that you can easily use if you consider yourself not so tech savvy, or if you're working with students that are either not tech savvy or younger students, you're going to look at tools and think about things that they could use And you can also vary the tools you use depending on your project. So this is just a running list. I Googled and Wikipedia'd a list of all of the video editing, video creation tools that are out there. And the list is ever expanding. It's always changing. And there's so many tools. I'll be honest, I've not tried all of them. But I looked at it and was like, wow, there's tons of stuff. And then there's always the free stuff and the commercial stuff and the freemium stuff and obviously open source, meaning that a team has worked together to make it available for free. So we're going to talk about different options, and we'll talk about different use cases for those. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that there's that many different video editors, and it's just an ongoing list. There was ones on there I'd never heard of, and there's some that are only Windows based or only only Mac or Linux based, or there's ones that are only iOS apps or Android apps, and so or Chromebook accessible. So there's different tools and different operating systems. So those are all things to consider when you're looking at tools. So the first tool I want to talk about, and you might be like, video creation tool, really? Flipgrid? Flipgrid is super powerful and super accessible. And so it's at the top of my list of tools you might want to use with your students. So let's talk about the power of Flipgrid. Now, Flipgrid is pretty awesome because you can create using the Flipgrid Shorts video. It's kind of weird to see myself here twice. You can use the Flipgrid Shorts camera to create just about anything. Students can do basically picture-in-picture because they can add themselves in there with their camera. They can have their camera off. They can upload images. They can upload their own individual clips. And they can even do some lightweight editing in Flipgrid. There's also the ability to add in stickers and emojis and things like that, which makes it a very engaging tool for students. Now, Flipgrid is obviously free, favorite price, and it's available on, I agree with this. Yes, the Flipgrid being available inside of Wakelet is powerful. And that's the other thing about Flipgrid is that it's available to be added into Google Classroom. It can be added to Microsoft Teams. Students love it, exactly. Students love the fact that it's so easy to use, and there's so many options for creativity. What's really powerful is the fact that you can use the screen recording feature to record your screen or have your students record their screen and talk through their thinking. The other nice thing about Flipgrid is if you send it out as an assignment, you can set how long students have. Is it 30-second clip? Is it up to 10 minutes? And you can set that criteria for your students. Now, the one thing about Flipgrid is that when you record in Flipgrid and you edit in Flipgrid, you have to submit it when you're done. Like there's no sitting it and coming back to it later. So they have lots of flexibility and creativity options, but it's meant to be like a task that they work on and they submit it in one sitting. So they can't come back to it. So that's something to consider. If students are working on a project or you're trying to create a video and you want to work on it in pieces, now you can record segments and upload it and edit it in Flipgrid, but you can only trim the beginning and ends of the video. If you want to know a little bit more about Flipgrid and you want to see how to use it, I do have a tutorial all about how to use Flipgrid on my channel, and this will be and it's linked in the description. So if you want to check it out, I would advise you checking it out. But I always want to say Flipgrid first because free, pretty cool tools available, some really cool functionality in there, and just a little shout out, the Flipgrid live event is coming up in just a week or two. It's almost summer break, so my days are running together, but at Flipgrid Live, they're going to be announcing all of the cool new features that are coming for next year, and fingers crossed, there's some cool things I'm hoping that they're going to add. But every year they keep raising the bar, so Flipgrid should be at the top of your list of tools you can use with students because easy entry point and has so much flexibility for you and your learners to create. So there we go. Flipgrid is my number one easy to use tool for creating videos for you and your students. All right, next up, let's talk about Screencastify. Oh, why, thank you very much. You're very kind. I appreciate that you like the tutorials and that you find them beneficial. So most of the tools I'm going to talk about, if I've got a tutorial, I'll mention it, and you can always look on the channel and see if there is a tutorial. If there's not a tutorial and you think it would be one that would be beneficial, let me know in the comments. Hey, Jen, I'd love to see a tutorial on this particular tool, and I'd be happy to work on that. So Screencastify is magical. So With Screencastify, ease of use is again another one of those important things, and you can it's a Chrome extension. You click on it, you record. You can record with a mic. You can record your webcam. You can record you over top of the screen. You can just record you. You can just record the screen. So you got some flexibility there, and then you can record. And there is a editor now in Screencastify that gives you some a little bit more flexibility with creating your stuff. But what's magical about Screencastify is it automatically saves in your Google Drive, and then you can link it directly to your Google Classroom. You can also push it directly to YouTube as well. So it's really easy to make screen casts or tutorials for your students, and even have your students do the same thing with talking through their thinking. Now, the advantage here is that it's going to automatically save in Google Drive, so maybe they do it in pieces and then they bring it into another tool to edit. Now, I will point out that there is some changes coming to the way Google counts things in your drive, and so video takes up a lot of space. And so keeping that in mind, that not necessarily want to save it in your Google Drive, but the advantage of being able to push it directly to YouTube is pretty awesome, because once you put it on your YouTube, you can choose to have it public or private or unlisted and just share out that link with your students. So Screencastify is another great tool if you want to just be able to do some screen recording and have a little bit more flexibility with the editing. Because again, the Flipgrid editor only lets you do beginning and end of a clip, and here you've got a little bit more. You can split, you can rearrange, and you can add clips together. So if you are new to using Screencastify, or you want to check it out because you have not checked it out before, I do have a tutorial on that and kind of walk through how you might want to use Screencastify for flip lessons. So I love Screencastify. It's super cool. There's the free version and then there's the paid version. But I want to share out another screen recording tool that's probably one of my new favorites because price is right. It's free. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Recordcast. Recordcast is both a screen recorder and an editor, and the editor is pretty powerful for a web-based tool. It's completely web-based, which means that students can work on any device, so Chrome, Mac, or PC. And what it does is it records and it saves the recording to the local device, and then it reads it from there, and then it produces it. So it's cloud-based but different. So you can get 8 recordings for free, and then after you're done, you just delete those out. So like you can have 8 simultaneous recordings going on that you're saving in your dashboard. So it is a super powerful screen recorder, but what I really love about it is the fact that it has, like Screencastify, you can record your screen, you record you on top of your screen, you can record just your webcam, but the editor is where it sets it apart. And so I've got 2 tutorials on this one on how to use Recordcast, and then the new features. And so this is kind of what it's in beta, so they're still learning and they're still adding features to it. But what was amazing is that I made a video on a Wednesday about this new tool I learned about, and by Friday they added all these new features in it, hence the reason there's the updates one. But what's magical is they have these elements in the web-based version, which allow you to customize and add in like cool arrows and call outs and things. You can even upload your own content. You can upload music. You can upload voiceovers that you record and bring it right into Recordcast and edit it. Now, I'll point out that what it does is when you record your screencast, it records it in 2 files. So you get your screen and you get your camera separate, so you can actually hide and reshape, resize, and move yourself around to really make your screen recordings more dynamic. I worked with some 8th grade teachers that were making a video about their college for College and Career Readiness Week. And so we worked together. Now I point out that it's not one that you can work collaboratively. We were screen sharing as we were working on it. And when we did that, we were able to upload just about everything we wanted to do, and pretty cool stuff. Awesome. I'm glad to see you're gonna give it a try. Let me know what you think. So we uploaded audio, the voiceover, we uploaded images, we were able to put call outs, we were able to put circles on the map because we were talking about where their college was located and everything. And now there's not a lot of transitions, but the customizable elements make it a great way if you're just trying to record your screen and then point out things for your students for flip learning, it's a great opportunity to use Recordcast. Now, it is free and you can sign up with your Google account. So if you have students 13 or over, they can also sign up for a free account and use it as a tool to create their own tutorials or to walk through their thinking for lessons. So check out Recordcast if you have not already. It's pretty cool. And if you have used it, let me know in the comments if you've checked out Recordcast. All right. All right. We're not going to watch that right now, but you can check that one out. All right. So next up, let's talk about Adobe Spark. This is probably one of my other favorite tools that I think is really powerful for video creation. And that is because one, price is right, it's free. Education can have access to it, and you can even apply for the education upgrade where you get the admin access to monitor student accounts. And with Adobe Spark, you can actually upload your own content. You can use music that they have available that's copyright appropriate. You can even embed in photos. You can use link it to your Google Drive. You can also add in cool text and filters and things like that. So it has like templates that are ready made that help you with creating videos. I used Adobe Spark with a 6th grade math class that was creating videos about their math project, and they were able to work using one device. They all worked together and came up with their project. They were able to do a voiceover, which is really great that that's an option in there, so they could upload pictures of their project and then talk through their thinking. They were able to screen record things using another tool and bring that video in as well. So Adobe Spark is really powerful. Price is right, it's free. So it's one of those tools that you can do a little bit of app smashing. You can actually create a video in Adobe Spark so that you can actually add in things you've created from Google Drawings or slides or Canva creations, or even in Adobe Spark's post tool, you can actually create infographics and download those and put them inside of an Adobe Spark video. And then those can be uploaded to Flipgrid. That's a great way for you to share your creations. So just a little bonus tip there that you can actually do a little app smashing by using Adobe Spark for the editing, because you can come back to it. You can collaborate on it, not real time, so students can actually share out the link and say, hey, I've started on it and you need to work on slides 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever those frames, and they can work on those as well, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's Adobe Spark. So this is a quick little video I created in Adobe Spark that what I like about it is it has the, we're not going to play audio, but you can see I added in text. You can see that you can add in icons, you can upload pictures, and create a very straightforward video, and your students can explain their thinking or their new knowledge that they've gained on any topic. All right, so that is Adobe Spark. I do have a whole video on how to use Adobe Spark, so there's a training. You can check that out on the channel if that is something you're interested in, you want to learn more about Adobe Spark. All right, next up, I got to talk about iMovie, because if you happen to have an iPad or a MacBook or an iPhone, iMovie is a pretty robust editor. I got on my Wakelet friends. I love that. Yes, there is an integration that you can actually add anything from, you can add Adobe Spark videos, because it gives you a link that you can publish. You can post those in Wakelet again. I love this, and that's a great way. We're talking about portfolios. You can actually use Wakelet to collect a lot of these videos. You can pull in Flipgrid, make a playlist. You could pull in Adobe Spark videos. All of those are great options. So iMovie is a very robust tool and for video editing, and I actually think I like using it because even the version that is on the Mac is pretty powerful, but the iPad version is pretty good. They've added in the green screen feature and the picture-in-picture feature, which gives you some options. And so if you have iPads, that's a great tool to get started with students. If you have a MacBook or an iMac, obviously using it, it's more robust because you can actually layer tracks, you can actually do picture-in-picture, you can do some transitions and some fading. So now we're getting into, let me do some transitions, let me zoom in, let me zoom out, so you have a lot more functionality in iMovie. So I use iMovie for projects with students because we'll create videos, and I'm going to show a couple apps that we use to do some green screen projects, and then we use iMovie on the iPad to edit it, and then we can upload those to Flipgrid as a way to showcase them. All right. So if you're not using iMovie, definitely consider it. It is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's pretty powerful. So I mentioned that I use a couple of apps to do video production with students, and one of my absolute favorites that I use is Doink. Green Screen by Doink is a very powerful, very user-friendly iOS app. It's iOS only, but it is so powerful. Now, technically it has a little bit of an editor in it, but I usually have students create their project, use it for the green screen feature, and then export it so that they can bring it into iMovie to do some more heavy level editing in terms of adding titles and zooming in and zooming out and doing some speed changes and things like that. But Doink is a paid app, but it is worth every penny because it allows you to create really powerful green screen effects. I think the use of green screen is a great way to engage your learners, and you can be used in any content area. The idea that you can have students travel to the past or travel to the future or create their own settings and use the green screen app to do so. So I think the app is $3.99, $4.99 maybe. There is a companion animation app, but it is worth, I'm a big fan of free apps, but this is one that I've paid for that is well worth every penny. Here is an app smashing. I'm going to put the link to this presentation so you have access to all these links. The app smashing video, which is on my channel, is using Doink and iMovie. So it was the process of a project that we did in a social studies class. I introduced Doink, showed them how to use it, and then we used iMovie to actually edit and put their videos together. I've done that for social studies. I did that for science for weather reports when we were back before the pandemic, when we actually got to go to school and do video projects. We would use the app smashing of Doink with iMovie to create those weather reports. It's tons and tons of fun. This year we just used Flipgrid, and we just had to get creative with how we use Flipgrid to create those weather reports. I'm looking forward to being able to bring the green screen and my studio that I take in my car with me from school to school. I'm looking forward to doing some video projects next school year. All right. So you want to check out that video on app smashing. It's pretty cool. If you are a green screen fan and you want to learn more about green screen, you might want to check out this summit. And I'm going to put this link in the chat here in a second. This is a green screen summit. It's the first one that they've had. And I'm one of the featured presenters that they're going to have. There's going to be over 20 presenters that are going to be talking about ways to use green screen and video to level up your lessons. So I dropped the link in the chat if you're interested in that. Check that out. That's this coming up here in July. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about sharing some of the project stuff that I've done and just some ideas of ways to use a green screen. So a little shameless plug there, but I thought you might be interested if you are into video creation and you want to learn some tips and tricks from some of the green screen gurus from around, not just the country, around the world. We got folks presenting from across the pond, I believe. All right. There is one other green screen app I want to mention that's pretty cool that's called VScope. And when I first started using green screen apps, I actually started with VScope and then learned about Doink. Doink is geared more towards students, and so it's a little bit more accessible for your younger learners, but VScope is a super powerful iOS app that lets you do green screen as well, and it lets you even build up to 6 layers. So in Doink, you can have 3 layers, so you can have your background, you can have your actors, you can have some elements on top of it, but VScope lets you have 6 layers, so you really can build some creative stuff. So I did want to mention that. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that at the summit. It's a pretty cool resource as well. iOS only, pretty powerful. So another app that's available on your, if you have iOS devices, Apple Clips. And Apple Clips is a really powerful tool because it actually does language transcription, and it does text on screen, and it lets you do cool filters and stuff. And so I've got two little clips here. You're not going to really hear any audio, but you're just going to get to kind of see what they look like here. So you can do cool filters and looks for cartoon style stuff, and obviously it records live transcription. So this is a great way to support your diverse learners for you creating content for them so that they can, you know, see the text, they can get the feel, so you can have your little cartoon self on there. But also if they were creating something, say, about social studies or history, they could be talking about a time period, and they can use the different filters to set that mood or tone. Here's another one. Here's another example, just again, setting it. We were talking about the Tuskegee Airmen, and so I used a different filter, and it was actually capturing all of the text on the screen. And you can also use the translate option so that if I was speaking in another language, that would appear as well. So Apple Clips is a really cool tool if you're just trying to create projects or content for your students, and these are short, quick, fun clips to create. Let me know in the comments if you've used Apple Clips before. I think it's a pretty well-kept secret. It's just pretty powerful. If you have iOS devices, that text on screen captioning is powerful. I actually had one of my Spanish teachers loved the idea of doing this for the Spanish language practice, because students would be able to see what they're saying on the screen and be able to kind of check themselves, which is pretty cool. All right. So next up, let's talk about WeVideo. So WeVideo, do you have any WeVideo users tuning in? Let me know in the comments if you use WeVideo. WeVideo is a super powerful editor that is available in your browser, and that's what makes it super powerful, because if you're a Chromebook school and you're looking for the ability to create some cool content with your Chromebooks, WeVideo is a good solution. All right. And it allows you to do green screen and do podcast style stuff and export just audio only. It has a bank of media available in there. So now WeVideo has a free version which comes with a watermark and does not allow you to do green screen, but if you do the paid version, you can use the green screen feature and have access to a ton of resources. There's even a learning community with tons of tutorials on ways to use WeVideo with your students. And one of the reasons I like WeVideo, and I used it for my Shakespeare project prior to the pandemic, you can monitor your students' projects. So now it went from being an independent thing, students are using their own devices, they're managing their own stuff, which that's really important because they're self-regulating and taking care of what they're doing. But sometimes you need to be able to provide that additional support and monitoring, and WeVideo allows you to do that because you create a class, you push it out, and you can monitor student projects. So I do a Shakespeare film project every year prior to the pandemic. I can't wait to get back to doing that this year. Fingers crossed, we'll get back to movie making. And when I used WeVideo, because I have 6 schools, and I had seven projects, 7 films that were being worked on this last time. And I can't be in 7 places at once to work with all the students, and it all being different schools. So the advantage of WeVideo was that I could log in, I could look at the students' projects, see what they're working on, check their status when they got ready, when they said their video was finished. I could export it, and I'd had access to being able to move them to the YouTube channel and the playlist. So WeVideo is very powerful for that because it turns your Chromebook into a pretty powerful editor. It'll work on any computer because it's web browser based, but the ability to monitor student projects is really powerful. So if you're looking for that, I had a video production teacher that was super excited about the fact that she could monitor students' work. So that's WeVideo. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the video editor that's available on, pull this back here, that's available on your Windows PC. During the start of the pandemic, I had teachers that were like, I need edit, and all I've got is my teacher laptop. I need a video editor. There's actually a Windows editor that's on your Windows PC that's fairly robust. It's not super great. You don't have transitions, but you can add in photos, you can add in video, you can clip, you can add in titles, you can add in music. and you can export it. And so it will work for cropping videos a little bit if you need to and adding different elements. So I always want to mention that that is available on Windows. It used to be, if you're a Windows Movie Maker back in the day, it's now called the Windows, it's the video editor. And you can search in the search bar at the bottom of your PC and look for that one. Another tool that I'm trying to get more comfortable with, I've used it a little bit, I'm learning more about it, is Adobe Rush, which is a mobile app, as well as there's a download application that you can use on Mac or Windows. And Adobe Rush is like Adobe Premiere, which is their Premiere product. Adobe Rush is a lighter version of that, which makes it a little bit more accessible because you can layer tracks, you can layer audio, and you can add in elements, you can crop, and you can select things, and you can rearrange and resize and all of that. So Adobe Rush is pretty cool. So I've used it a little bit. I'm playing with it a little bit more. But what I do like is the fact that, here we go. You are a Windows Movie Maker girl? Yes. Check it out. It's pretty legit. Having that, a lot of people didn't know it was there because it comes up, the Windows one comes up as photo editor, but it's actually, now they've rebranded it with the update in Windows. Now it's the video editor. But so Adobe Rush, you might want to check it out because the nice thing is if you have an Adobe Creative Cloud account, you can actually edit it on your phone and then also access that edit and those updates on your laptop or MacBook, which is kind of cool. So you can have that connection of working on a project and working on it on your mobile device. And so Adobe Rush is kind of cool to use on your mobile device and do some neat edits. So again, I'm learning a little bit more about that one. I'm not an expert, but just putting it out there might be one you might want to check out. All right, so I often get asked, so Jen, you've told me about all these video editors and video creation tools. What do you use to make your tutorials? And that would be Camtasia. So Camtasia is not a free tool, and it's not a cheap tool, but it is a very powerful. So I've bit the bullet and invested in it, and I have because of some features here that I think are really powerful. It is and that's in the chat I'm seeing here that's some folks that use, and that is a good point. I didn't mention it in this, that you can record directly into PowerPoint and use their recording tool to create content, which is pretty cool. Thank you for that reminder. But so Camtasia, what's powerful about Camtasia is it's also a screen recording tool. So when I'm doing my tutorials, I can record my screen. It will record me, and it records us as two separate tracks. So that means that I can minimize me or hide me if I want to, or resize me if I want, and I can resize the content on the screen as well. And I can create actual libraries, which you can do this in a lot of other editors. But what I like is that I can, have these ready-made resources in here in Camtasia. But this is why I really love Camtasia, and I'm still learning how to use it. But what's powerful is that I can actually use these elements. This is, to me, is the game changer, because I can add in the blur effect, the sketch effect, things like that really level up my videos. And hopefully if you've watched any of my tutorials, you've seen, as the year has gone on, I started at the beginning of the pandemic with tutorials, and hopefully you're noticing they're getting better. And using a tool like Camtasia allows me to do that really quickly and add those animations and highlight things, and it makes video way more engaging, in my opinion. So Camtasia is a tool that I use. Again, it's a premium tool that I'm paying for, but I get asked, Jen, what are you using? I'd like to know. And so I'm using Camtasia. And I like that you can do cool animations. You can also do cursor effects. So like I can get it to highlight my cursor and follow the cursor on the screen. I can do voice animation, narration in there as well. So it's just a really powerful tool. Let me know in the comments if you are a Camtasia user. It is really powerful, and I'm really enjoying using it. So a couple other things I'll mention is that DaVinci Resolve, if you're looking for like pro type project editor, DaVinci Resolve, they just released version 17. This is like Adobe Premiere, but it's the free version. DaVinci Resolve is actually used by movie editors because it has music capabilities to do really cool audio controls. It has Fairlight, which lets you control like color grading and get real fancy with that, and you can add in elements to it as well. So I'm learning a little bit about DaVinci Resolve, but it is for really advanced stuff. But some people want that and they like the free price, so I'm always going to mention it's free. If you are interested in that, you should check it out. Again, there's so many different ones. I've played around with DaVinci Resolve. It's great for creating like cool animations and stuff. So definitely check that one out. If you're looking for like a pro type editor that's free, that has the most functionality for free. If you're looking for some other kind of cool tools, Kapwing has all web-based little editors, and they're actually, it's divided by what you want to do. Do you want to trim something? Do you want to expand something? Do you want to zoom in on something? Do you want to do green screen? And they just added the green screen feature, which is really exciting. So if you haven't checked out Kapwing, you should check it out. We used it for end of the year videos last year because you can collaborate and share the link out, and it makes it a lot easier for teachers could upload and then be like, here's the link, work on it. And because it lives in the cloud, that's a great tool. It does have some cool templates, and it has some functionality in there that you might want to check out. And if you want to make animated GIFs and things like that, so you can level up your presentation. So I did want to mention Kapwing as another tool. So I must mention OBS is not an editor, but it is the tool that I use to do all the fun stuff like this, which is what I'm using to live stream and control having my presentation up, as well as me being able to do fun stuff like, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And it's just a really powerful tool that I'm using to be able to do different scenes like this. And it allows me to set up scenes with different effects and then control them. And so I absolutely love OBS because I can use it, one, as a virtual camera, and two, as a recorder, because you can stream to YouTube and Facebook and things like that. But I like the fact that I can use it as a virtual camera in my Zoom, and then I use it as a virtual camera through the tool that I'm streaming, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I love that I can preset all of this stuff up so I can have the images that I want to load. So it makes editing a lot easier because I can go ahead and have, like, I want this to be on the screen when I'm talking, and I don't want this to be on the screen when I'm talking. I'm glad you think it's cool. It is a lot of fun. And yes, I love OBS and use it on the daily because I can do fun stuff like now I'm a mini gen, and now I can be now I can do, so all of that's done in OBS, even the cool effects like if I want to, let's see here, I'm pull up my stream topic again. I can do reminders like, hey, don't forget to tune in to Just Ask Jen. It's coming up next Wednesday. Mark your calendars. But then wait, now I want it to have that cool effect of me transitioning, and that's my stinger I just created. And now there's me, and there's I got to remember which way I'm pointing. There we go. And I can have that in there. So that's OBS. It is free, favorite price. It is intimidating the first time you open it up. I do have a couple of tutorials on how to get it set up to use it as a virtual camera. So you can do all this fun stuff and have it go out to Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or Zoom or any tool that you're using for virtual lessons. And it's fun to create these recordings and have all these scenes set up. So you can have all sorts of fun things like flying in and going out. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes if you have any questions. I mean, fail forward. You saw the beginning of my stream was not cooperating, but that's on me. But OBS also lets you do really cool green screen. So I'm actually wearing a funky green shirt. I did it on purpose today. So you can use green screen behind you. That's how I'm able to have me in front of, I can be in front of the screen or beside the screen and all of that. So definitely check out OBS. It is one of my absolute favorite tools. And then the other thing that I use to make my life a lot easier is if you are going to get into like streaming like I'm doing, or even if you're just recording or you're doing editing, you can use a tool called Touch Portal where you can create these macro buttons. And that's all I'm doing is actually, that's the screen, but I'm using my iPad. We're going to pick it up here. Let's go back to this. I'm using my iPad with these buttons. And when I hit the buttons, all right, we're going to put this back up here. When I hit the buttons, that's what's letting me, it's making my life a lot easier. So it's basically a control tablet, and I'm using Touch Portal to do that. And I have a tutorial on how you might want to use that. And it's just super cool that I can actually set it up and use the iPad or an iPhone, or I have an iPad mini, or I have if you have an iPad, you can set it up. There's a free version that lets you have like a 4x4 button. So if you only want to control a couple of things, you can do that. It just will make your life easier if you're trying to do some recording using OBS, and then when you bring it into an editor like I do, I'll bring it into Camtasia. It's just super cool. So Touch Portal, check it out. It's just pretty neat. So if you do upgrade to have unlimited pages and stuff, I think I paid $12.99, one-time fee, and I'm using it on an iPad. It's magical. And you can get it to control other programs. So like there's even a page to control Zoom. There's even a page to control editing software if you want to do that as well, which is kind of cool. All right, so the other thing I'm using for streaming, if you're going to start streaming events, so this does fall under the video creation, is I use StreamYard to stream to YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So that's how you all are tuning in. And StreamYard does allow you to do some of the cool stuff I'm doing, but what I've done is turned OBS into a virtual camera so I can do a little bit extra stuff to make it pretty fancy. But StreamYard, there's a free version that you can use that will allow you to stream to one place if you just want to get started. I mean, even if you just stream to your YouTube channel and left it unlisted, you could then share those videos out to your students. And so you can have the ability to put up banners. And I'm using the comment feature, but I can actually go to banners and pop things up on the screen. So if you want to just remind students of things, so you can do some cool stuff like, hey, if we haven't already connected on Twitter, I'm APSITGen on Twitter. And definitely be sure to check out more of my resources at techtips411.com. That's something I'm doing inside of StreamYard, which is really, really cool. So if you're interested in checking out StreamYard, please do it. I have a tutorial all about StreamYard that will walk you through how to use it if it's something you're interested in. And last but not least, I'm going to give a shameless little plug here to my app, which is all of my favorite tools for video production and ideas and resources for ways you might want to use video production in your classroom. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat here for those that want to check it out. It is got tons of resources. It has all the things that you might be interested in regarding using video production in your classroom. And it started with that Shakespeare project, and then I ended up creating the app with all sorts of good stuff in there. And it even has all different types of video editors and tools and resources, and it even ranks it by easy, moderate to more advanced, if you're wondering, is it one you should dive into or not? All right. Well, I have tons of ideas of ways you might want to use video in the classroom, whether it's in language arts, literature, composition, art, engineering, social studies, math, and all the things. So a couple of suggestions of ways to use video to engage your learners, whether it's you creating content or having your students create content as well. So there's some project ideas that's linked in this presentation that will be shared out. So our goal was to explore video creation tools, gain ideas for using video creation tools for lessons, and gain ideas for students to create video projects. So let me know in the comments, do we accomplish that task? That was our goal for our time today, and I hope you found the tips and the tools that were shared to be beneficial. Shameless plug, I do have an upcoming session here that I wanted to share with you. I will be, if you're attending ISTE, I will be presenting a session on June 29th, that's that Tuesday, on using Wakelet for differentiated learners. So if you want to know more about that and you're attending ISTE, I'd love for you to join me for that. So let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please add them in the comments of the video. I will do my best to answer those questions if you have any. If you haven't already done so, please check out my resources at techtips411.com. And you can also sign up for my weekly tech tips. All the links are available in the video description, so please check those out. If you haven't already done so, like Tech Tips 411 on Facebook and subscribe to the channel so that you're notified of upcoming streams. All right. I did want to point out that I do have the next upcoming one. I'm going to make sure here. Let's see here. We do have a Just Ask Jen that's coming up next Wednesday. And in addition to that, Thursday, I'm kind of excited. I've never done a session on just Chrome extensions, but if you are like me and you love Chrome extensions, you might want to join me for Chrome Extension Extravaganza. That's going to be the first live stream on Thursday. That'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then my final one for this summer, before I get out for the summer, is going to be on project ideas and lesson ideas for Google Tools. Thank you so much. Always happy to help, and I'm glad that you find this beneficial. All right, on that note, we're going to wrap things up. Again, if you have any questions, please be sure to leave those in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And until the next one, thank you so very much for watching.